All right, all right, all right, all right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom, Sister Deborah. Coming back with another message. And this message is a message I uploaded, and you can barely hear it. And I guess I don't know what it is with my voice that causes the laptop not to be able to, I don't know, catch what I'm saying. Maybe I'm saying it too loud or saying it in a way that it can't. I'm moving too fast, talking too fast. That could be it as well. So Sister Deborah had to come back with that message regarding the sins of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Solomon, uh, Daniel. Every one of the main characters in the KJV was overlooked. We want to teach them as angels, as men of Yah that came down and never sinned. And I think that I look at the thousands of years have gone by, and I'm just going to talk about the 400 and some odd years in which we have been told what to think and how to comprehend the instruction guide. That's why I say unto you how important it is to have the Spirit called the Ruach HaKodesh living in you, the one that was promised to come and teach us all things. And this, for that same reason, is showing you the difference. I, myself, very grateful, and it makes a lot of sense. I think about the way the Holy Spirit teaches me versus the way the world teaches or people teach in all denomination, or let's just stick with the Bible itself, the way it is taught by all denomination, religion, and beliefs, and it is totally different from the way the Spirit, not totally, but somewhat, based on the way that the Holy Spirit has taught me. And for that same reason, it makes a lot of sense to me today. And I think about, just imagine, I just thought, not now, but I have thought about it. If I had a building where I can be a speaker in that building and speak spirit and truth, you know what type of information individual would receive? You know, 99.9 wouldn't hear. I'm going to be honest with you. But those that are in the body of Hamashiach, they would take heed to it. So I'm just thinking here. Let me tell you why I said it. The Father said that you're not going to make the crooked straight. Okay? You're not going to turn someone all around and they're going to get on and go to the right end. We're not in that day. So I guess it wouldn't benefit for me to be a speaker, but just to be what Yah told me I am to him. And that is one that bring the light out of darkness. And I say unto the Most High Yah, I salute you in this, because this is something that been in the dark since the beginning of time. I don't think it's no one on this earth have heard it the way I'm about to break it down. And I'm not going to use the study guide. I'm going to speak truth. Okay? And I'm going to come from the realm of the Spirit as he lead and guide me. And I'm going to stick with that. So I say unto you, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Solomon, who else did I call? And many others have sinned. They have sinned. Paul sinned. He even told you about his. Peter sinned. Everybody have sinned. But you would never know it in this day and time. And do you all know how it would have made a difference in a lot of our men of all nations to hear that these monarchies of these men of Yah was not perfect and they had sinned. This is why do you think you got so many pastors owning mega churches and big churches all on 2 and 3 on one corner? Why? It's because they teaching the lie. You see, no one is willing to bring that light out of darkness. It's too late for them, but I'm just still saying, just look at all these years gone by. Tell me in the comments if you have heard this message from someone before. They ain't going to teach it. They're not going to teach it. The Roman Catholic got this thing about St. Joseph, St. Catherine, St. Paul. They so into putting them all on pedestals. Look how they put Mary on the pedestal. The Roman Catholic tell people you can't come in without coming through Mary. You see, every flesh, Mary was flesh. So she was conceived in sin, born in iniquity. And she did sin. And what happens? In where we are at today, there was a lot of people turning away from the church. But to me, they didn't turn to anything. I'm speaking of spirit and truth, meaning I can see it in the natural and in the spirit. They are not turning from the church to go to spirit and truth and light. They're turning from the church to go into stupidity. They're not turning toward the light. So it was like, why would you even get out of the church? Why would you turn from the church? It didn't let you turn to anything. So as it was time passed, I used to tell you all about the ball being dropped, and the Father don't want me to say the ball dropped. Just tell him the truth. Everybody in this world been lying. And what did that do? While Geno Jennings is up on the pulpit speaking to all these men on the front row, these men are liars, and he is deceiving and using deception to lie to them. Because if you're going to take a position, you got to speak spirit and truth with the light in your right hand. You cannot walk around and put this in your right hand. What did the word say? This is not the word, it's words. And this is the same reason why so many people are confused. But I shared with the Most High my heart, because I knew he knew what I was thinking. And I was like saying to the Father, I said, Father, that was never hidden. So what happened? David's sin never was hidden. It was broke down to us. Abraham's sin wasn't hidden. It was broke down to us. Isaac's sin wasn't hidden. It was broke down to us. Jacob's sin wasn't hidden. It was broke down to us. Solomon's sin, their sin was not hidden. It's just those who preached about them, lied about them. They told you the good things they want, and Moses as well. They told you the good things they wanted you to hear, but not truth, not spirit and truth. They only gave you the deception that these people were men of Yah with no sin, no iniquity, no wrongdoing. You're not going to get them to preach and teach it at that level. We have to. This is why they put all them over on the pedestal. When I was a teenager, I used to ask the Father, why do all them get glory? Why are all them lifted up? They're lifted up above you. You son of, but they glory, Father. What's that? Because when I used to read the Bible, I was always reading it, and I see the things that they done, and I never put them in the category of perfection, perfect, because I have always thought there's no other coming like unto Yeshua HaMashiach. So we're looking for perfection and perfect in all the wrong places. We can only be perfect one place. And my brothers were perfect in that one place. But it did not keep them from being in sin and iniquity. See, you can be perfect in one place. I mean, really perfect. The same one place that I know that I am perfect in is believing in Yah. I believe in Yah wholehearted. Same thing with my brethren, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David, Solomon. No matter what they did, we believed in Yah to the point of perfection, perfect. We had a perfect belief in Yah. That's where you can be perfect at, believing in Yah. And that's what they were perfect in. But we were to take their living and apply it to our living. But we weren't supposed to take only the things that we wanted to take, because the people cannot, how would I say it? They cannot see themselves in Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They cannot see themselves in Moses. They cannot see themselves in David and Solomon. Why, Deborah? It's because the world who have taught from this book, thinking they got the word, they have taught that the characters were more important than the Creator himself. To where when these characters come in our day as priest, bishop, apostle, prophet, prophetess, mooring, seers, watchmen, we put them on high hall when they're supposed to be down at our level as humans. And when we put them that high, we loses our frame of who they are. And this is why when the pastor get caught messing with little girls or messing with little boys, and the organ director is gay, we tend to get out of control. But what you fail to realize, they're human. They have sin and iniquity. You placed them in the area because they was a good choir director. They was a good singer. They could sing good. Oh, that's a pastor. He got a lot of members. That's just like on YouTube. Same way. People get on YouTube and they just assume that we that are on YouTube are, yeah. And they put so much emphasis and glory on people. We are not what people try to make us out to be. And yes, most of them are on here trying to represent something special. But most of them don't even have spirit and truth, y'all. They on here deceiving you with deception and lies. But yet they want you to see them to be something on this YouTube. And guess what? That's what people do on Facebook, Twitter. They put people a place they should not place them. We are all sinners under grace and mercy. Our parents, in sin, conceived us. And in iniquity, like David said, in iniquity we were born. We were shaped in iniquity. Flesh. My daddy and my mother having sex is flesh. That's spiritual. It is not spiritual. It is flesh. But we can't seem to get out of that. Because why? is righteous. And that's what this message is about. I want to bring back up Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I want to bring back up Moses. I want to bring David and Solomon to let you know, just like Sister Deborah, just like them. They're the spiritual seed. Notice what I said. The spiritual seed. We are, oh, let me put this in here. We are the spiritual seeds. So we should never have gotten put up on a pedestal. So even me, even in this very day, I look at it, I say, Father, thank you. I'm glad people are not following Sister Deborah. Because what all that I have is all that he has given me. That's how I see it. So I understand Yeshua said, all that I have not lost one. And what that means is, even though I know that Judas, the betrayer, is in there, I haven't lost anything. Among me is all the ones that Yah has allowed to come. Just as he gave Yeshua the betrayer. It doesn't make you because you sit up in the corner as a brick wall and you keep attending. You won't support. You won't do anything. It don't make you in there. Because the betrayer did everything with Yeshua. But his whole purpose for one thing, to do it like many of them do. Come in here and sit. Leave, find reason to get mad, go and come back. That's game plan. And you know what that leads me to believe? This is people who don't know where they're going or if they're coming. They don't know if they can call it I'm going or if I'm coming. That's just how delusional people's mind really is, and they don't understand. Should I go or should I come? And really it's based on how they feel about what you say. And they didn't understand. Truth never said it was coming to make you feel good. It's going to set you free. And according to set you free, it got to break you down to build you up. It ain't going to come here, and that's what people look for. So what I want to talk about is how Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, how David and Solomon, they had sinned. 65 years, I have never heard nobody stand firm on the message stating the sin of these individuals. Matter of fact, I'm going to be honest. What I see is they love the characters better than they love the creator. They boast Moses. They boast David. They boast Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Solomon. They boast these individuals above Yah. Why do you say that? When they don't bring them below Yah. Matter of fact, they boast them more than they do Yeshua HaMashiach. Look what they say about Yeshua. Look what all these denominations say about Yeshua HaMashiach. Look what they say about him. They believe Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, David and Solomon before they believe Yeshua HaMashiach. See, that's why I say I don't feel bad. It ain't nothing that I can be on this devil platform feeling bad about. Because to me, I'd rather match the Son of Man than to match Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, David and Solomon. But I know that I do match them because we are born in sin. We conceived in sin, and we were shaped in iniquity. But people will look at me and assume and accept the way they feel about me, failing to realize the reason why you feel that way because you're on one side, I'm on another. And they just can't seem to get that up here. We're two different seeds. The way one feel about me, you're supposed to feel that way. But I tell you, each time people come and go, all it does is weaken where they stand in Yah. because we in such a critical time to where people ain't realize you ain't going nowhere. Watch this. Look at all those people who have left the church, especially the Hebrew Israelites. All of them left the church. They didn't go to nothing better. And they did not leave to go into anything better. And that's how I'm so glad about myself, the way Yah created me to represent him. Because when I sit and I say, Father, who cares if they leave? That's my spirit. But to darkness, all those people left the Christian church. All they went to was darkness. That's why you don't hear on YouTube no more about it. You don't hear no more. You see that? That's how these type of people are. So that's how I say I stay firm and bold in what y'all give me to say. So this topic is going to be about how those individuals have sinned greatly. And then I said, but Father, it said they sinned, but why did man expound on it? So the brothers, the sons that's coming up will understand that Moses is human like you are. Sister Deborah is like Moses' sister, Deborah. I'm human. Even Deborah, she was sinless. Her mother and father conceived her. She was conceived in sin, born in iniquity, just like me. But the flesh of wicked people try to take everybody and make them something that they are not, instead of seeing them. And this is why people left the church. A lot of them left the church before this Hebrew Israel thing. A lot of them was leaving because they said the pastor this and the bishop this. They don't teach this and they don't teach that. You know what that has a lot to do with? Where are you with Yah? Where do you stand in the face, in the eye of Yah? You're so busy trying to see what the bishop and the prophet and the apostle and the priest and the pastor stand. Where do you stand? If you stood where you're supposed to stand in the eyes of Yah, you will stand on that and live by that. And that's how I am. I've been to many churches. I joined many churches. Not many, but I joined churches. But everywhere I went, I stayed in there and I sat and listened and heard every wrong thing that they were saying. You think I took up from wrong? No, I didn't. I was able to rightly divide what was word and what was not. Do I go back the next time? Yeah. Did I get from among all of that? Yeah. When y'all called me and told me I'm your teacher, I'm going to be the one to teach you, I got away from all of it. And the beauty of it is I had all my children and I was being what you call a good mother. And I was just a good wife. And I was just making sure that I stayed in the face of Yah, in the eye of Yah. You see? I didn't go around doing what my neighbors were doing, what my family and them was doing. That just never been me. Never was. So when I think of Abraham, let me just start with Abraham. Abraham did see. And I don't know why everybody thinking when a man lay down with a woman, he's privileged or he's supposed to do that. That's what he was created to do. No. David told you that's sin. That's sin. David told y'all. Psalms 51 verse 5. I was conceived in sin and shaped in iniquity. The Father took Abraham to a vision. And in that vision, he showed Abraham everything. And he told him, Sarah's going to have a child. I'm going to give you your own, from out of your own bowels. I'm going to give you your child. Sarah's going to have a child. The whole world will go to that book and say, Abraham believed. I think I'm the only one on the earth to tell you he didn't believe. He was in the belief, in the vision, seeing and believing at that moment in the vision. But when he came out, did he believe what Yah said? No. Because why? He went, lay down with Hagar. And every last one of y'all think that was okay. Every last one of you all come up to believe when this man went into Hagar because Sarah told him to. All of that was sin. It broke the protocol of the kingdom. The kingdom took him to the secret place. And in that secret place, he gave him what he had prepared for. He told him what Sarah was going to do, and he's going to give him his own. And Sarah. So who did he listen to? Sarah or Yah? But I thought y'all said he believed. What did he believe in if he came down and did the opposite of what Yah said he's going to do? See, y'all never, ever, ever understood nothing. He sinned in the face of Yah. After communing in the spirit with Yah, he came out of the spirit and went straight into Hagar. Probably what he wanted to do. He's just waiting for Sarah to give it to him. Y'all just sick. Y'all just sick. Because at instant when Sarah would have offered him Hagar, first thing he should have said, no, Yah has promised me you shall have a child. You see how wrong y'all have been? But then you'll stand here and look at me all cockeyed. Because you don't know nothing in spirit and truth. You don't have the light. When Abraham did that, that counteract the kingdom. Why you say that, Deborah? Because Yah took him to the secret place and shared that with him. He didn't share it with Sarah. He shared it with Abraham. Abraham comes out of the vision, and what does he do? He goes straight into who? Sarah said, here, hey, take Hagar. And that's the same, let me explain something to y'all. That's the same, very same game Jacob's was doing the same thing with his cousins. The very same game. Jacob was doing the same thing. Rebecca and Leah, same thing. Giving their handmaid to Jacob to lay down. And y'all thought that was righteous. No, that was sin. Go to Psalms 51 and verse 5 and let David break that thing down so you can have some sense tomorrow. Because right now you ain't got none. Yeah, he promised him a child. And he decided to go into Hagar. He didn't want to wait for the promise. He wanted what he wanted. And it's a whole world won't tell the truth. Because the first thing the men should have preached that was not of Yah. Not after Yah told him what he was going to do. Then he goes out there and take it into his hand. Since Sarah volunteering it, let me go and get into this. Come on now, y'all. Because no one wants to see them under sin. It's not going to change the way I feel about Abraham being the spiritual seed of Yah. No. Seeing him in the kingdom. No. It's about keeping the light brighter than the darkness. And what I realized, they never did. They never did. Who? The men. They never taught truth. Just like Abraham took Sarah to the king. He needed a lot of things for his people. Instead of trusting in Yah, that if we go in here, we maybe just should ask because we trust Yah to do this for us. You won't get a man on this earth see nothing wrong with him going into Hagar. They'll tell you that was the will of Yah. So you think that it's the will of Yah for these pedophiles to be messing with these kids because they yearn for it. See, this is where you know the sickness in the masculine mindset is messed up. Because they think everything is for their desires. They think everything created is for their desires, even animals. It's for their desires. In their mental state, they believe. And I'm not speaking of people who have a skit or a bipolar and all. I'm talking about people, men. They think everything is based on their desire and they quick feeling. That's why he didn't give them that desire or that feeling to last but just a second. Because he knew they were already going to do it and use it and abuse it out of order. That's why all these hospitals, all these scientists is building up all these pills so they can be able to be what they should have been, because they didn't wore their stuff out doing what they should not have been doing. They loses it because they over abuse it. And now they can't do anything with it. So the world builds them pills to take just to give them the think, ooh, go there, Deborah, go there. That they can gain that quick second of feeling. When the Yah gave it to them to have it. And it's just supposed to have last them long, but because they think from it. They think from their penis. All of their feelings were up in their penis. They move on it. They act on it. Their emotions is caught up in it. Their feelings is caught up in it. Everything. Why? Because they took it, abused it, and used it out of the protocol of the way it was created for him to have. It wasn't created for him to go around here and have all these women. Dolls and all of them going to hell. They don't even know it. And I'm going to tell you something a lot of y'all did not know. When Dowles was on here on YouTube for years, he wasn't practicing polygamy. But once he got enough males there that he can teach them polygamy, first thing he did, he didn't have a second wife, a third wife. He allowed them to have wives. And after he seen them enjoying what he trained them to, then that's when he got him a second wife and a third wife. He didn't start that job. Nope. He taught it to get them to go out in the deep. And they did it with a happy face and a smile. You really believe that sin and iniquity is really what Yah wants you down here doing? And not serve him? But put that on the highest pedal when that's what the men are doing. They put that on the highest pedal and said this is on the highest stand and say, when, okay, this is what we created for. This is why they're messing with babies, messing with animals, messing with themselves, messing with men on men. It's because when you come out of the protocol of the way Yah designed you and to design things to go, this is what he let it go. So now men on men. So is that Yah fault too? Men messing with babies. Oh, that's okay too, ain't it? I know that's okay because they've been doing that for years. They don't have no problem with none of it. Nothing. Because they think they were created to get they pleasure off. And that's why he stuck it only for a second. And that's as far as it can go. Because he didn't want them to ride into a half an hour and an hour. Because this is how sick he knew their minds would be. Could the father have done this? Sure, he could have. He could have given them what he gave woman. So Abraham turned around and went to the king and flipped Sarah over to the king just to get what he wanted. Deborah, tell him the truth there, girl. Tell him. Abraham flipped Sarah straight over to this king and denied that she was his wife. We know he was her, that was his stepsister or whatever. But you can't use it and abuse it when you want something. So either way, you was lying. But you was willing to give her body over to this king. Y'all don't even know that, did y'all? Abraham was finna sell Sarah just to get the things he wanted. And Sarah was all for it. She was all for it. You see, y'all would sit here and lie. The men would sit here and lie. Abraham sat and he went in and he was getting all that he wanted. As long as he lied and said Sarah, he wasn't trying to stop that man from touching his wife. He wasn't finna do that, but that's why the spirit of the Most High Yah came down to do what he had to do. Because Abraham didn't have what it take to be that man that don't sell your wife out just because you want something. So Yah did it. Yah did it. And the man that, the king that was about to take Sarah, lay down with Sarah, he was ready. But Yah interfered not with Sarah. He didn't interfere with Abraham. He interfered with the king. He interfered with the king. Why? Why? Because Abraham and Sarah knew better. But the king didn't. So Yah dealt with him and schooled him. You see? Because they did it with their eyes wide open. What was Abraham and Sarah's faith? They don't think Yah could have took them in there and told the king what they need, and the king gave it to him out of the favor of the Most High, if they would have just trust and believe in Yah. This is going back to show y'all, when y'all run y'all tails around and put these men on these high pedestals, y'all a bunch of trash talking, preaching, teaching. That's all y'all do. Teach trash. None of it carries the light. None of it carries spirit and truth. Abraham didn't care about this man laying down with Sarah as long as he can get everything he wanted. Sarah didn't mind laying down either. Long as, it was all right with Abraham. But it was a problem with Yah. Wait a minute, y'all just breaking all kind of protocols. Let me step in here. You see? Sin, iniquity. Sarah and Abraham. Sin and iniquity. And y'all constantly won't teach that. And that's why I look back at it. I said, they never was teaching spirit and truth, Father. No, they weren't, Deborah. That's why Yeshua came on the scene and said, the time has come and the time shall come. The time is now, where he was at, Yeshua HaMashiach, and the time is to come when the true worshipers shall worship in spirit and truth. And that means telling the fullness, but it took that Ruach to come in to speak through us. To speak this spirit and truth with the light in our right hand. To see in what? We need the light because too much darkness out here. It'll take us over if we don't have the light. So there go two cases with Abraham. What is this Abraham believed when he was in the vision? Everybody want to talk about Abraham believed, Abraham. Y'all put too much emphasis on the creator, not on the creatures, than the creator. Because you're sick. And the same thing with David. David did the same thing. He lusted at a man's wife from where he was at. All the women he could have had. Anybody. But he won't what he want. That feeling just got a hold of him and just made him just feel that he couldn't do nothing but murder and take some other woman's and lay up with some other man's wife. And you all sit back and let these men teach David without teaching the sin that David showed us of himself. We can't see it. And this is why that's why people put so much emphasis on these leaders, on these YouTubers, on these pastors, and on these priests. The priests who come into town, they ready to kiss his feet. All because he's a priest. And all the darkness behind the priest, they don't care. Just let me kiss his feet. You see how sick people are? Same thing on the YouTube. They want to put the characters up high. They don't care if the people on this YouTube ain't speaking spirit and truth. They don't care if these people ain't revealing the light. Want me to tell you why? They got somebody speaking spirit and truth and revealing the light. And they still don't have no respect for the true servants of the Most High God. You see? So it's like saying, don't really lead the church. Why they away from church? But let me tell you what they did. They went into a deeper darkness. I think so. I really do. They went into the Hebrew Israelites and everybody that left churches. They went into a deeper darkness. Many of them went to home. And that's a deeper darkness. Why? They ain't doing nothing at home. They still up on a brick wall. Still in their little house with their little book. And they save. They having a relationship with Yah. No fruit, no work, no labor. Can't speak to nobody. Can't witness to family. Can't preach to nobody. Can't teach nobody. Can't speak spirit and truth. Can't show the light. They went from darkness to dark. They went from dark to darkness, calling themselves worshiping Yah. Let's go back to David. And David took this man's wife and then put him on the front line to get killed. Had already laid up with the woman, all because of a sensation that he wanted for fear. Because why I say it like that, he could have had all the women that he wanted, but he chose somebody else's. That's what's going on right now with these Hebrew Israelites who's practicing polygamy. They getting any woman they want. Telling these sick, silly women, they are laddered with sin, that this is the will of Yah. Yah ain't never called sex, conception, and having a child be his spirit. That child don't have his spirit in them until they take their first breath. And that's what the spirit comes to give them. A spirit of their own, like unto the spirit of Yah. He has an image. He's giving them an image of a spirit. And they get the breath, truth, and that's it. So here David is sleeping with the woman. These men back in those days, they was laying down, just like David said, sin and iniquity. But you would never get Pastor Dow and all of the men come to the conclusion, wait a minute, we in sin. No, they ain't. They getting a quick fix for fear. And they ego shaped. They are never, once you get into something like that, you will never come out. You know what you'll end up doing? You'll end up getting younger and younger and younger kids. Maybe even start messing with little boys. Because you done broke all the protocol from the kingdom. The kingdom didn't tell you to go do that. Because if that was the case, he would have made Adam and several Eves. But he made one on one. To become what? One. He could have said, okay, Adam, I'm going to make 10 Eves to start the population. He didn't do that. He made one and one to be one together. All this stuff these men done taught is too late. Did you know they can't even turn back now? They have invested in having all these babies and having all these women. They little selfish, just as they think they on high on the hog. They think they in heaven, y'all. They think they on this earth already in heaven. If heaven had to come right now, they wouldn't want to go. They say heaven is for us right here on earth. See, they didn't understand that. That's what they were deceived by. So when you get David did that. Then David turned around and had his captain of his army to count how many was in Israel and Judah. And Dan, and I think Dan and who else? I forgot what it was. But it was telling him to count them. And when he counted them and told David how many it was, David killed him. He'd been with David many years, his captain of his army. And David killed him. Did y'all bring a curse on him? Yeah. David kept whining and whining. I have seen a great sin. But you ain't going to get these men to teach and preach that. Why? So they can see, this is why you got brother on brother killing each other. Father killing their children. Oh yeah, y'all didn't hear all that, did you? All of y'all, you see how they don't teach that? These men want on these Hebrews, on the top they Hebrew Israelite, we the true this, you the true fools. Back in Hosea chapter 4 and verse 6. My people, you gonna perish. You are destroyed. Because they do things thinking because we can say we the this, we are the that. No. Look at all that David did. He killed the man. And then what happened? Then he had to choose between the three, which is Gad. But Gad told him, which was the prophet, that the father gave him three choices. When David chose the choice where he pulled out a pestilence to come upon the people, and y'all, they killed so many people, it was off the chain. So many men in his army died. Oh yes, y'all brought it out on him. But see what I'm trying to say to y'all, and another thing, let me explain something. Why do you think all that was going on with David's children? You see that? No one ever, you will never get these men to preach and teach that. What was going on with all of these children of David? A lot of that chaos had to do with the sin and what? The iniquity that the father had done. Y'all visit the children 3 to 4 generations. He's about what he say, and he say what he's about. Even when it came to David. Why would y'all think that David, Ishmael, would be partaker in Atlantic slave? Y'all just as sick can be. You don't get it, do you? That's Ishmael that have taken a lot of treasures and put it into their museums and into their land. They took these things. They were the biggest role, one of the main role with the Roman Catholic that connected to the Atlantic slave. Ishmael. See, they can sit and lie to y'all and tell y'all. Oh, let me tell y'all, we did, Abraham, Isaac. No. Why did Ishmael? Why would he have such a hate like that? Why would he interfere with Jacob? You see? Even to this very day. And now one of y'all picked up the study guide and asked the Holy Spirit to show me what Ishmael and how you going to defeat Ishmael. Oh, it's in there. Oh, baby, yes, it is. It's in there. He told him he didn't like what he took from Jacob. He should not play that role in Jacob. A lot of people thinking, Esau is the European. Esau can stick closer to whoever he want to be. But I tell you one thing, he's coming for Ishmael. Oh, yes. Ishmael done some stuff that ain't now one of these Hebrew Israelites ever preached on this earth. That's why I say to y'all, don't mess with me. I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking stuff that ain't nobody ever gave you sense enough to even hear. So what happens? All the things that David's children were doing among each other. Messing with the daughter. All that type of sick stuff. Did y'all ever think to pick it up and read what happened to David's wives? Nobody want to talk about it. No one wants to talk about nothing. The sin, the iniquity, the wicked and evil that linger throughout David's children. Right here today, we talk about Jacob. Jacob did some things that he shouldn't have done too. Were called sin and iniquity. But we ain't going to have a word. The Hebrew Israelites won't pull up Jacob for nothing. But y'all did. Jacob stole his brother's birthright. And where is Jacob today? His birthright got stolen from him. Look at how many years it been. Birthright been taken from him. Hebrew Israelites won't even teach it and preach it. Y'all, we serve the creatures more than we do the Creator. We put them up on high and put Yah so low. We never looked at Yah in them, which was the spiritual seed. What is the spiritual seed? We took the spiritual ideal of who Abraham, David, and Solomon, and Jacob, and Isaiah, but we didn't show who they were in the flesh because they were like we are. And we didn't want to I ain't gonna say we didn't. Let me stop. Let me cut that out right now. They didn't want you to know the truth. Isaiah did the same thing with his wife. Chose to claim she was his sister. It's just lies and crook and things that you never really gave it a thought. This is why the world in the condition that it really is, because a lot of us didn't pay any attention to the fact that these were just men in the flesh like we were in the flesh. Our flesh has sin and iniquity. But it's our spirit that carries the spiritual seed, but it wasn't cutting us from sin and iniquity. It's just so much stuff that went on, we counted to be good and righteous. And it wasn't righteous. It wasn't good, y'all. Jacob was around here having sex with all women. And David sat there and broke it down that sex is nothing but sin. And shaped in iniquity, which is flesh. Flesh coming into flesh, having the more flesh. Y'all, it's not tangled in that. Until after it comes out, y'all bless them with the breath. But all while everybody looking at it, oh, that's sin. That's the way the world was created. That's how y'all created. No. Why do you think a lot of things that, what was that? Jacob's, what was her name? Not Leah, but Rebecca. What's her name? Rebecca. The one that Jacob wanted. Why didn't you think he was never able to get her? He wanted her too bad. He wanted her too bad. She gave her women and showed Leah. She did the same thing to Jacob. And everybody never thought, that's not right. for him to have all them women and having all those babies and all those children all over the place. But what they did, they made it right. They taught us Yah made it right and righteous with us not even seeing. That was a bunch of sin laying down with flesh on flesh. You can't get righteous out of flesh on flesh. You can't. And then turn around and what happened? She ended up dying. The one Jacob so wanted so bad. Jacob wanted her so bad. She ended up dying after Benjamin. You see that? So he didn't even get to have her like he wanted her. You see? But nobody ain't going to talk about it. Nobody ain't going to talk about all these women that's laying down having sex with Jacob. Couldn't have been just Yah said, have sex, have sex. This is my will that you have sex. You have no. Yah turned something into it, but he didn't tell them to go do all that. Because all that is connected to what? Sin. When is it not sin? It's when the breath of life is given to it. When it's connected to the flesh, that's why he said a child is born of a few days or a few hours, one of them. And what? Full of sin, which is trouble. Because it's flesh. That baby's a newborn, so what? He was conceived in flesh, shaped in iniquity. He's still flesh and sin. So what daddy and mama laid down? So what daddy and mama married? They laid down, brought forth sin. See, y'all never figured it out, did you? But let me tell you why. When the Father said, I come through Christ to bring the sword, you think I come to bring peace? I come to separate the spiritual seed from the serpent seed. That's why he ain't come to bring peace to that flesh. I come to separate the two because I was always about what was in the spirit. Because I put it in the spirit. I didn't put it in the flesh. I gave everybody a spirit so I could put what seed is what seed in this one or this seed in that. So I come to check, to separate it, to bring the division against. He couldn't keep them away. The wheat and tare just kept mingling, coming back together. And it's like that today. I sit back and see myself being on this devil platform, speaking spirit and truth with so much light. I see YouTube cutting out to make sure nobody tune in. And I see that. I've been seeing that. Because if anybody had any sense, it could not and will not. Spirit and truth ain't never been, how would I say, yearned, desired. Yeah. Never been. And it ain't going to be now. That's why he said, don't you put too much emphasis and too much of yourself in there, devil, and doing what you're trying to do. These people ain't going to be crooked. These crooked people ain't going to come straight. I already know who's in them. That's why I told them when Christ, I came through Christ telling them, I come to bring division in the household. I come to divide against. What are you doing? I'm separating the two seeds, Deborah. Where are you separating them at? They in the flesh. I got to separate, them from each other. I come to bring the division, mother and daughter, father and son. That's why I say all this monkey mess about all these daughters hating their mom, baby, it is already written. It's wrote in and wrote out. You ain't ruling nothing down on this earth, talking about your mama did. But I tell you what you are messing up, your eternal life, your eternal destiny, your eternal spirit going to hell. Because if he put a command before you, whether you the serpent seed or the spiritual seed, that commandment is going to dictate where you going for eternal. Hello. And see, that's why I say they are messed up from the floor. So even with these men, look at Solomon. He told Solomon to not interfere with those women that of a different nation because they have a different God. Do you think he stopped Solomon? No, you think Solomon did exactly identical to what he told him not to do. And went there. And this is why you got a lot of sick men today. They think they can have many women and many wives, and they don't understand all this is connected to sin and iniquity. It is not connected. I'm gonna teach that too. I'm gonna teach that. I'm gonna have to teach that. It is not, I'm gonna teach that on the live. It is not connected to anything spiritual. He mean what he said, and he said what he mean. Did not he come after David's children? Did he not he come after Abraham's children? Hey, this one ain't mine. This is not my promise. This ain't got nothing to do with my spirit realm. Send them away. You don't think Ishmael knew today? Ishmael know more than Judah and Israel put together. He knows. He set Jacob up from the floor to go into captivity and to steal all the things from that promised land. Ishmael did that. Ishmael is also going to be one of them that's joining. I don't know if it's going to be the false prophet, because I think Obama going to pull up to be the beast. If it's going to be the false, it's going to come in from Ishmael, I believe, level. And I'm trying to see, is that the Arabs or the, I think it's the Arabs. And that's what they do. They come in our community. They say, brother, brother, brother. I'm your brother. Yeah, we brother. Because they know who your dumb tail is. And you too stupid to know. They come in with all these grill little restaurants and sell y'all food. They sell y'all trash because they know they Ishmael and you are Jacob. Jacob will eat anything. And with his eyes wide open, it don't matter. I look at the idea of Jacob being in here 400 years. It's probably 400 and some, I know, years. Jacob ain't changed a lick. He's still crouched down, waiting. But the one that's crouched is also connected to the spiritual ones, because he ain't taking everybody to no promised land. He's taking the spiritual seeds of Jacob to the promised land. Okay? Because the seeds were divided in the kingdom. They wasn't divided on the earth. Okay? See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. Because if they was divided on the earth, no, they was divided in the kingdom. They wasn't divided on the earth. Because he had to slaughter the lamb to go back to redeem what belongs in the Lamb Book of Life, not what's belonged in the lake of fire. You see? So that's why a lot of people don't understand that he's not coming for the world. And just like I heard a lot of these pastors talking about he coming for the rapture, we going to get out of here. We in the rapture time. Baby, how you going to be raptured out of here in the level of hate that you have in your heart and in your spirit? They have no idea that hate is not just in your flesh. It's in your spirit. People who cannot get along with the spiritual seed of Yah, they are the spiritual seed of Satan, whether they accept it or not. Hello. That's why I say, when I get on here, that's what makes me be bold. Because I know where I stand in Yah. I know who I represent. Anything outside of that can't deal with me, you know what? I understand. I salute. You can't deal with me because we just different seeds. We come from a different, Yah or God or whatever you want. We're different. That's why. That's why. See, people can't get along because a person saying something in the way they said and the things that they said. No. Wake up. The Most High Yah didn't tell us it was going to be easy. The Most High Yah forever bringing down before he build up. And you know what else? The Most High Yah told me twice, no more than twice, 3 times, because he told me when I was out of town. He said that I am not coming. I did not create the end to come down here and be patting people up, trying to make people think that, okay, this don't mean that. Come on, baby, you saved. You full of the Holy Spirit. And that's what people looking for. They looking for you to tell them that no matter what you do and done, you in there, baby. And that's why so many Christians thinking the rapture coming for them. And they got the hated, The serpent seed hate in their hearts. The Roman Catholics. They ain't trying to, you know what? I don't even think the people of the Roman Catholics think they going somewhere. But the people who ruled the Roman Catholic, they know they serve Satan and they don't have no problem with it. They don't have no problem with it. So Sister Deborah, and I was talking about Solomon, everything y'all told him not to do, he did it anyway. You see? So this is what we can't mimic them, y'all. We can't look at what they doing and say, I'm going to be like David. I'm going to be like Abraham. No. Only way you're going to be like them is they sin that they did. That's what you matching. You can't match who they are in the spirit unless you are in the spirit. They are my brothers because of the spirit that's in them was in me. The spiritual seed in them is the spiritual seed in me. That's what make us brothers, spiritual brothers. But I'm not going out there saying, "Oh, I can have many husbands and I can do this here and find somebody to have sex with my husband here and have children." No, I wouldn't even do it. My ex-husband, I ain't got no husband, but I'm just still saying, no, See, we got to create a bent, y'all, and it's okay. You can have him bent, because when it all said and done, it ain't that you got him bent. You been up. And you've been down. So Sister Deborah, I hope you got something out of it. And I wanted to route back on that. And I'm going to call it what I called it before. The sin of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob and David and Solomon and Moses. Even with Moses. Y'all notice Moses' children. You ain't heard nothing about Moses' children, did you? You see what I'm saying? You ain't heard nothing. You see? Nothing. See, it just, people, y'all just don't understand. They were just men, flesh, like we are. They do wrong like we are. They make wrong decisions. They no different. But this is what has been different to me in this world. People have took every position from pope, priest, apostle, bishop, pastors, prophet, prophetess, Maureen, seers, and watchmen on these devil platform, and they have boosted them so high. And even in the world, all these pastors are so high because you all made them holy. You all made them the light. You all made them spirit and truth. And ain't none of them. Or the spiritual, not when I said none of them, I'm speaking out of 100, you might get 1%. Is spirit and truth. That's why the gate is so narrow. And what the key to the gate being narrow, let me explain that to y'all right quick. The key to the gate being narrow is not that the narrow being narrow mean very, only a certain one's going to go in it and it's going to be too narrow. It's they got to find something. They got to find something. And what you hear me teaching you all is to find, that's it. That's the key to the kingdom that they got to find. And they ain't gonna find. Because they took the multitude too far out in the deep. They can't bring the multitude back. Now, say for instance, they said, "Oh, I get it now, I'm coming back." No, they can't. Because they took too many people too far out. Many of you all are out right here today as I speak to you, you're too far out. And you enjoy being out because you figure, hey, I'd rather be out here than be in here. Because you think that that's what it's going to take. You're going to be able to ride both sides. Baby. You already written. Sister Deborah don't have a hell nor a heaven to put you in. But guess what? Sister Deborah can tell you. You already written. Sit down. You see, it is already written where your destiny eternal. It ain't got nothing to do with Sister Deborah. So you can in and out, up and down, turn around, flip over, or whatever. Sister Deborah gonna steer throughout her living as long as y'all let me live and be in my right mind and be able to speak spirit and truth in the light. I'm going to do so. So you go on and see her. I hope you have a good day. Sister Deborah, shalom and shalom.